Okay, everyone, we're already midway through season 3. Time flies when we're watching a great show. The mid-season trailer dropped this week, and by the end of the season, the death toll could begin to mount, in Game of Thrones style. As they say in this universe, Valar Morghulis, all men must die. But House of the Dragon embraces the possibility of redemption for each character, also in Game of Thrones style, because, as they also say in this universe, when facing the god of death, not today. Now let's recall that Sansa became queen in the north, Arya killed the Night King, Jon Snow turned out to be heir to the Iron Throne, and they grew into their destinies after climbing out of unspeakable adversity. House of the Dragon will only have 4 seasons, not 8, so we won't have as much time to spend with each character, and they haven't had as much adversity thrown at them, but the season 3 mid-season trailer seems to indicate that that might be about to change. Now, season 3 probably will conclude with the first and second battles of Tumbleton, as described in the book, which, on the TV show, I believe they're setting up to be almost like the Vietnam War in the sheer devastation and brutality. On this show, dragonfire is treated like a nuclear weapon or like dropping bombs, but the Riverlands, where Kristen Cole went in last week's episode, is terrain where superiority in numbers and firepower aren't necessarily an advantage. Now, here's an image from the season 3 mid-season trailer. Kristen Cole in an open field. He's walked into a dragon footprint, so forced to fight out in the open, and how devastating for Cole. His face is covered in what looks to be camouflage. Now, later in the trailer, his voiceover says, "We have endured much, and though we languish, we will not lose heart. We will join them, glorious in battle, and they will sing songs of it." Of what? According to the book, it's the Butcher's Ball for Kristen Cole, although he seems to be talking about Tumbleton. And the trailer shows us the Winter Wolves, Sir Roderick Dustin, who's about to send a number of people to their destinies. Now, later in the trailer, Cole is yelling, "Stand your ground!" So, is there desertion among the ranks? Soldiers who've embraced the credo of "not today." Now, here in this image from the mid-season trailer, Rhaenyra says, "My patience has its bounds. Have I not shown you mercy?" Now, wait a minute. Is she talking to Alicent? There's an image of maybe a burned village, could be Tumbleton. Now, there's an image of Aegon. He looks very calm and calculating here. If he can triumph over the bully at Rook's Rest, it could be a test of character for him and a test of leadership. And later, Rhaenyra says, "This is finished." She's in an open field. Prince Daemon lands in an open field as well on Caraxes. So Rhaenyra seems to be yelling at him. Does this have to do with Rhaena? She appears in the trailer, in the Vale, looking out at 2 dragons in the distance. Now, in another shot, Daemon tells Rhaenyra, "We should have burned them when we had the chance." Then the shot cuts to Daeron looking out at the troops and Ormond saying, "A cunning mind can resist the most savage of beasts." In episode 4 last week, Ormond called the Targaryens a savage race, rich and cunning. So his word choice here seems to indicate he will use Daeron against the Targaryens, fighting fire with fire, so to speak, since Daeron is both Targaryen and Hightower. And it seems that Ormond views Daeron as a beast to be controlled, although Ormond could be projecting his own character traits onto those he views as a threat. And there's a shot of Ormond looking a bit overwhelmed and a cut to Roderick Dustin. Now, the trailer shows us another Hightower, Alicent. She has a pendant from the Faith of the Seven. She says, "Rhaenyra has the throne. It is she who rules now." And the shot cuts to Rhaenyra looking at the crown. In another trailer this season, we're shown this same scene with the crown, but Rhaenyra says in that trailer, "There will be no question whom the gods have chosen to rule." So this could be about the anointing that Rhaenyra had asked of the High Septon. Now, his view of legitimacy isn't based on dragonfire, so maybe his anointing of Aegon is based on the fact that Aegon is a Hightower. Aemond, whose own claim to rulership is based on dragonfire and attempted fratricide, tells Alice Rivers that Rhaenyra's claim is illegitimate. He says, "Rhaenyra has defiled our great house, diminished the Iron Throne. She is no queen." Well, he could be talking about himself. And the trailer shows him in the thrall of Alice Rivers and practicing with the sword. He might need a bit more practice there. Now, speaking of disputed claims, the dragon seeds are shown in the trailer. The book leaves their motivations very ambiguous. Ulf White, as we learned in episode 1, grew up in Flea Bottom, so poor he wanted to die most days. Now, that's what he admitted in episode 1. He was also trafficked as a child. Now, Rhaenyra, in my view, doesn't grasp who this person is. She is the opposite extreme, to the manor born. Being a Targaryen is very meaningful to Rhaenyra, especially because she knows the Song of Ice and Fire, the prophecy. The Targaryens are a breed apart. They were brought to Westeros with their dragons by the will of the Red God to stave off the long night. Now, she was even willing to die in the gullet, but Jace deliberately took her place. Jace also knew the Song of Ice and Fire. Now, Hugh and Ulf are very different. Ulf was in Flea Bottom until just a little while ago. Now, Hugh Hammer has a trade. He's a blacksmith, well-mannered at court, unlike Ulf. Now, Hugh has a family, and his wife is trapped in Tumbleton. And let's recall, the way that Hugh claimed Vermithor is very different from how Ulf claimed Silverwing. Now, it's possible Silverwing chose Ulf because of his vulnerability, but Vermithor chose Hugh because of his heroism and belief in himself. Now, remember the red sewing from season 2. Hugh saved the woman dragon seed. Vermithor was about to burn her, and Hugh stepped in and said, "No, take me." And Rhaenyra saw that. She witnessed it. It's similar to what Rhaenyra herself was willing to do, fly to the gullet and fight that battle. She doesn't see herself in Hugh Hammer, though, but Vermithor recognized it. He's the type of rider the dragon itself was looking for, but not the type of dragon rider the queen was looking for. And there's a third dragon seed, Addam of Hull. Is he in the mid-season trailer? Now we see Alan. Here he is in full armor, but he's a sailor, not a dragon rider. He wouldn't be fighting a land battle at Tumbleton. What's going on in this shot? Now Alan looks upset. There's no Addam of Hull or Corlys in the mid-season trailer, and the trailer shows Daemon fighting at the Battle of Tumbleton, presumably, which he does not do in the book. So if that is Tumbleton, there will be surprises, even for book readers, in the second half of the season. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe.